Okay, one big worksheet for 6.1. We'll do these sets here as far as samples. So this one here, each expression type, these are all the same type. This is called a difference of squares. So you have to write it as something squared. So here, in order to write it something squared with a difference, meaning subtraction, the square root of 4 is 2. So this is 2x squared. You have the x squared, and 4 comes from 2 squared, minus the difference being, and what's the square root of 9? It's 3. So that's 3 squared. So here's your difference of squares. So then you just write your answer as easily factorable, 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 3. The next one down is factor each expression. This is greatest common factor. So you take out the biggest number and the most amount of x that you can take out of each one of these, and usually that will be all that you do. So this one here, when you look across here, I can take an 8 out of those two as far as numbers, but I can't take an 8 out of there. So the biggest number I can take out of both of these is a 4. And how much x can I take out? Well, in this case, you look for the smallest exponent. That'll be the most amount of x that you can take out. So I can take out an x squared. Then you'll have a parentheses, and that's how your answer will look. 4 into 12 goes 3 times. When I take an x squared out of x to the 5th, I'm left with x cubed plus 2x squared plus 2. If I multiply these back together, I would get this one right here. So here we have trinomial with a equal to 1. You have to remember that this is ax squared minus bx minus c. So in this case, a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 1, and c would be equal to negative 20. So it's a, the number in front, a, b, and c. I will show how to do this one down here. So this one's also a trinomial. Trinomial with a not equal to 1. I'll show number 10. You will do the same thing for 7 through 12. So on number 10, we first draw a diamond on the side. The c times a goes on the top. Watch out for all the signs. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. The negative 2 goes on the bottom. So then we figure out the rest of this diamond thing. This times this has to be that, and when you add it together, it has to give you this. So multiplied, adding. 5 and a 3, and then I have to figure out the signs. Negative. Negative 5 plus 3 gives me negative 2. Negative 5 times 3 gives me negative 15. Now that you've done the diamond, these two things help you split the middle number. So we bring the 3x squared down. So 3x squared. The minus 2x gets split using these two numbers. So minus 2x becomes a minus 5x and a plus 3x, and then bring the minus 5 down. So the things on the end come down. This one, the middle term, gets split into 2. Now you factor using greatest common factor for each set of 2. So out of here, what can I take out of both of these? And then out of here, what can I take out of both of these? Pay special attention to what I take out of these two. So right here, what can I take out? I can take out an x. Sometimes you can take out a number. But in this case, I can only take out the x. So I'm left with 3x minus 5. What can I take out of this one? In this case, I can't take anything out except a 1. At minimum, you need to take out a 1. So plus 1 times 3x minus 5. If you do this correctly, these two will be a perfect match. So, sometimes you have to take out a negative sign so that these signs are flipped, so this ends up being a perfect match. Now in the real world, when you have your perfect match, the husband and wife are the perfect match, the two become one, as they say in the wedding ceremony. So the perfect match become one. And then these other two people go off together. There you go. The bridesmaids and groomsmen have a dance. The husband and wife have a dance at the party afterwards. The bottom section, this is a mix of the stuff above, so figure out what it is that you want to do. On the back, problem number 16. You can either use FOIL on these problems, or you could use a box, or you could just use distributive property. If you wanted to use a box, this has one term and then two, so I'd use a 1 by 2. I would put the minus 5x here. I would put the x and the minus 3. X times minus 5x is minus 5x squared. Negative 3 times negative 5x is positive 15x. So there's my answer, negative 5x squared plus 15x. Or negative 5x times x is negative 5x squared. Negative 5x times minus 3 is positive 15x. Here you could set up a 2 by 2 grid to do your math with the box. I don't recommend the box. I recommend using something like FOIL. 3x times x is 3x squared. Fill in the box. You will combine these two terms. You will have a trinomial here. Number 20, graphing form. That usually means y equals mx plus b, or in this case, y inequality mx plus b. So I'll subtract x from both sides. I'll be left with minus 2y greater than minus x minus 6. If I subtract x from this side, it goes away. If I subtract x from here, I'm left with minus x minus 6. I'm going to divide everything by a negative 2. Or if you did that first, you're now doing it at the same time as me. When I multiply or divide by a negative, do not forget to turn the sign around. So I actually say, turn it around first before you write anything else. That way you don't forget it. So show the division of negative 2. I'm left with y. Negative over negative is positive. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2 x. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is plus 3. Graph it. 1, 2, 3 is my starting point. And then up 1 and over 2. Up 1 and over 2. Up 1 and over 2. Backwards 2, down 1. Backwards 2, down 1. Backwards 2 and down 1. Here's my approximate graph. Oh, don't forget, you don't have a line here, so don't make this a line. Since it's not really a line, that's where it's dashed. So now you have to figure out where to shade. I always teach test the point 0, 0. So if that point 0, 0 is true, you start shading right there till you hit the line. I don't care if the line is here, here, here. If this point is true, shade here, so you would shade all this. If this point is false, go to the other side of the line and shade right there. So we test the point 0, 0. The reason we test 0, 0 because that's a 0, less than. 0 times this goes away, 3. Is this true? Is 0 less than 3? That's true. So we were testing the point 0, 0. If that's true, start shading right there until you hit the line. If that was false, you would go to the other side of the line and shade there. So in this case, this line is shaded this way. Don't do it too darkly. Don't do it too dark because you're going to have overlapping shaded regions. So here, divide everything by a negative 5. Oh, turn that sign around right away. There we go, before we even do anything else. So we're left with a y, negative 5 divided by negative 5 is positive 1. So now, do we graph here at 1 going across, or do we do graph here at 1 going up and down? In order to figure that out, we test a point. So if you thought it was this line here, let's say test this point right here. That's at 1 comma negative 4. Is that y is equal to 1? No, that's x is equal to 1. So this is the wrong line. So this would be the right line going this way. Or you're on the y-axis, however you want to know. So we're going to have a solid line. So we'll go like this. And we want y is greater than 1. Anyway, looking at this solid line, test the point 0, 0. That's a 0. Wait, there's no place to put x, so don't put it in. Is it true that 0 is greater than 1? No, this is false. 0 is less than 1. So do not shade the point 0, 0. Go to the other side of the line and shade that. So then our double shaded region is everything in here. So problem number 23 is the last problem I'm going to do. We should know how to do these by multiplying 1. I would multiply this one by 2. So here, this is substitution. I'm going to substitute this in for y, wherever I see a y. So right here is where I see a y. I will substitute this in for y. So the 5x comes down, minus 2, and then times y. This is 2 times y. But y is being replaced with this. So 3x minus 7, and then equals 12. That's called substitution. When you have one of the variables by itself, usually that's how you want to do it. At this point, I'll just do distributive property, solve for x, and then plug it back in to get my answer for y. So I have 5x minus 6x plus 14 equals 12. 5x and minus 6x become a minus 1x or a minus x. At the same time, I will subtract 14 from both sides. So this goes away. Bring down the equal sign. 12 minus 14 is minus 2. So if negative x is minus 2, then x is positive 2. So one part of the answer is 2 comma something. That's my x value, so list it first. Then I would plug the x in either into the first equation or the second equation so I can get y. Well, the first equation has y by itself, so if I plug the 2 in right here, that'll make it a little easier to go directly to y. So 3 times 2, so let's do it here. Y equals 3x minus 7. 3 times 2 minus 7. 6 minus 7 is equal to negative 1. So 2, negative 1 is my final answer. Enjoy!